work for some basic settings and linear workflow for V-Ray 3.4. So let's go to File and open the file that we're going to work for this course. So let me go ahead and look for it. So open the file, and there we have it. So let's work for settings on linear workflow. As you had worked before for simple Cinema 4D, if you press Ctrl B, Ctrl D, you will have all these settings. This is a normal Cinema 4D linear workflow. If you go to project setting, this is gonna be checked. This one, just check this off because this is a linear workflow for Cinema 4D. Let's go inside the settings. Right here where it says the render, just click on it and go straight to V-Ray Reach. So it's gonna appear down here. Just click on it. Let's set this up for linear workflow. So I'm gonna make some simple settings right up here. We're gonna set up a linear workflow as I said before, but the rest of settings in here, it's just going to be just for simple rendering, as we're going to be just making tests, lighting, cameras and stuff. So don't be worried so much about all of the settings we're going to make in here, because everything's gonna be explained in detail forward. Some just a video for it. So let's go to options, click on show V-Ray frame buffer. This is the window for rendering that is gonna be showing up every time we click on for the render, for the preview render. So I'll just activate it and leave the rest of it. Just leave it to the way it is. Just go to anti-aliasing, set this to adaptive subdivision and leave it on 6. Then for anti-aliasing filter, we're gonna stay with the area 1, and in the adaptive subdivision, just minimum rate, let's just leave it at -1, and maximum rate, let's take it to 6. Then we're gonna explain all of this in details, guys, so don't worry so much about it. To go to DMC sample, we'll say just to the way it is. Noise threshold, it works okay for the meantime, so I'll leave it to the way it is. They go to indirect illumination, it will be in radial maps and light catch. For testing render, it'll be good. If you go to in radial maps, all of these details will stay to the way it is. So let's close this down. And light catch, this is gonna be actually checked on. We check this off and we set this to 400. As I said, as we are going to be working just for test and render, it's gonna work properly and we will be able to make faster render for this time, so it'll be good for us. So as I said, we're going to be working with linear workflow for V-Ray 3.4, not for Cinema 4D, so it has to be deactivated. And then in here in the settings, it's going to be set up in a linear multiply. This is the way that all of materials and all we do will be straight linear. It won't make any changes on your images. Maybe if your images already has gamma of 2.2, Cinema 4D won't make any changes to it. And dark and bright multiplier, it will be set to 1, and gamma will be set to 2.2, every time we make render. The mode, it will be set to a color mapping only, and then we disactivate any options that we have in here, and we just leave enable adaptation in editor and linear workflow. This is the correct settings for linear workflow for Cinema 4D on V-Ray. So the rest of it, we just leave it to the way it is. So it's gonna work at the end what we're gonna do right now, but let's just set this up at this time. Let's go to save, and right here the format of the images that we're going to be saving or having for final render, instead of be just the normal one, let's set this to open EXR file. That actually it helps you a lot because we can make a lot of changes of these images, and it brings more details to images as well. In depth, it will be 32-bit channel as default already. As you can see, you don't have 8-bit or 16 bits, just 32-bit images. And you can see that immediately Cinema 4D recognizes that it's working in a linear color space. So everything over here is already set up for a linear workflow. Then after this, guys, in the next video we're going to be working with cameras and lighting, and you will see what different it feels when we make a test render with a linear workflow settings in here for Cinema 4D. Remember, guys, disactivate linear workflows for Cinema 4D, the normal one, and activate it right here on the radar vision one in the color mapping tab. It has to be activated. Okay, so take a look at this. This is the settings that you see in here, and in here for saving the images and activating this one. This is the correct way to activate linear workflow for Cinema 4D on V-Ray 3.4. So see you guys on the next video. Keep practicing this. So we'll see you then after this with some settings for cameras and lighting. See you in the next video.